So I just started a YouTube membership and I'm going to be making videos just like this exclusively for members and also going to be doing weekly updates of the hottest stocks and crypto every Friday, every Sunday, every Friday for stocks and every Sunday for crypto. And yeah, so you can either do that or join the Patreon where I'm going to send these updates in all the time every day. Right, so it's a little bit different of a style. It's more of a weekly thing for YouTube and more of a daily thing for Patreon as well. So the choice is yours, but similar content. And just if you need more, it's going to be on Patreon. If you need a little bit less, it'll be right here on YouTube. So this is going to be about the stocks that I think have fantastic potential coming up, but maybe not yet. So I'm going to be starting here with Roblox and just going to show you my GAN and going to show you the market symmetry and how perfect this has really been. So this is the 45-degree angle, and yes, it doesn't look 45, but when you scale it correctly, it becomes 45, right? So this is just showing you that all the angles are doing what they should perfectly throughout time, and it's also getting back above this current angle right now. And what I'm really looking out for is a break above this arc eventually, right? This arc is gonna be maybe around current if it happens this week, it'll be around 46.50. If it can break that, flip it to a support and then continue higher to the 50.30 up there and then maybe flip it and then continue higher. But basically, what I am looking at is breaking this resistance. And it hasn't happened yet. So that means I cannot advise buying this right now because it hasn't really broken resistance yet. It held support perfectly down here. And it finally is breaking this resistance right now. But the biggest resistance lies right here at 46.38 and maybe at 50.30 up here, which was a previous level that was already hit back in August of 2022. So, what I'm really thinking is this chart is just getting more and more bullish while still being stuck under resistance. So, I like these kind of setups because it still hasn't made a higher high yet from the previous candles, but it's in the process of doing that. And what I mean is, eventually, whether it's this week, next week, the week after, next month, or in 2 months, whatever, eventually, when it's on the top side of the arc, then it's going to start to flip that to a support and then move higher towards that $50 level. And ultimately, when that $50 level gets flipped to a support, it will go much, much higher. And the height that it will go to will most likely be these arcs, the 65s, the 70s. But beyond that, it'll most likely get to the next level, which does sit up there around $117. And that is looking fantastic for the future. And it's not like it's going to happen right away, but it could be sometime in later 2025 or 2026, right? And if it just followed this angle up exactly, it would be in 2027 to get to $115, which is not too bad, but it could happen much sooner, especially if this angle is in fact going to be a support now. And so we'll wait for the weekly candle close. We'll see where it closes, but this is getting to a higher high. This is technically a weekly break of structure right now, if this candle were to close like right now, because this high is higher than these candles right here. So this is a positive development going towards its upper resistance levels here and then here. So I believe it's in the beginning stages of something that could be a great, great breakout and something to really pay attention to for the future because things are looking very, very right. And the next one to start to pay attention to is Roku. And Roku has been doing really not much for a while, but I'm going to show you the whole market symmetry of this. And the whole market symmetry does look beautiful from September of 2017. It just basically rocketed up straight up to the blue level in 2021, came back down, tested the arc as a support, went back up for the double top for confirmation, This is not going higher, and this was a warning sign to get out. And sure enough, it went straight down. First, it went back to the 45-degree angle here, which was a big support level. Then where did we get our confirmation? Well, the confirmation was that bearish engulfing candle right there, down 20% for the week. And that just broke below, confirming it's going much, 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 much lower. And from that 178, 180, 200 level, it just collapsed straight back down to the orange level where it tried to hold a support. And what do you see? Well, another bearish engulfing candle down 26%, straight to the blue angle, came back up to retest it and confirm right there that now this orange level is resistance, and it's been resistance ever since August of 2022. Then it went down below the blue angle, where then that blue angle was resistance, and right here another bearish engulfing confirmation, then a retest here and a retest here, and so many retests of that blue angle that it wasn't enough. And what do we see? Another bearish engulfing right here, down 24%, breaking below that orange level, confirming that orange level as resistance. But now what do we see going on here with Roku is this orange angle has held perfectly as support. And now it was a V bottom support here, a support here. It lost its support here, confirmed it as resistance here and here. Bullish engulfing up 18% for the week. Backtest breakout. What does that really mean for Roku? It means that price wants to go back to the orange level. That orange level sits around 84, right? $84, $85. Let's just say, yeah, 85.12 to be rough, exact, I guess. And now, anytime it goes back to that angle, could be a great support, but I don't think it needs to because there's other support in there. And we can look at that real quick with the Ichimoku here. And you can see that we'll go right here. Actually, no. The Ichimoku is right there at 61.80. So we don't see it there, but we will see it on the daily chart is what I was going to pull up. So yeah, the daily chart, it shows the daily support there of the 69.28 and a little bit below at the 64.03. But going back to the weekly chart here, not only do we see Roku breaking out, but we also see what is called a katana, right? The 61.80 is 61.80 on Roku is the exact same price. And if you follow Cantonese Cat, he has said many times that the katana is great things that can just explode the price higher because it's basically a bullish formation, especially if price is on top of it. So with that being said, uh, price can easily get back up to the top of the cloud now, and that sits around 80.27, and then maybe 81.49 at the top, and then again 85.12, right? We'll look at that level for the next resistance. But the whole point of this video is to show you that this has bottomed, really. This orange level is now confirmation, is once again support. We have that breakout back test. We have price wanting to go up. We have price probably gravitating now to the $85. And that could be some resistance for some time. But once it breaks and flips into a support, then it can go much higher, right? And ultimately, it's going to go back to that blue angle up there, which now sits around 138, 134, depending on time, maybe 140, 150. It could be 150 by February of 2025, right? Right there at that green arc and the blue angle where they meet. And then if that ever got flipped to a support, then guess what? It has the potential getting back to the all-time highs around 462. And that's not out of the question, especially with this angle holding as support. And the high time frame is still higher lows. You can see here, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So all of this was just a really big blow off top for a big, massive correction just back down to the normal support zones. Now the angle is hold. Now it needs to flip one level at a time, starting with the orange level, then the blue angle, then the arcs, and then the ultimate target could be 460 up there. So the potential for Roku to go higher is now there. Now that support has been confirmed, and it just needs to break these upper resistance levels before it really wants to explode. And next is PayPal. And PayPal is one I've been noticing for a while, and it's actually bullish on the Ichimoku for the weekly chart. I can put that up right there. You can see it's finally on the top side of the cloud, and it's been, when's the last time it did that? Well, the last time it was above the cloud was back here when it was the end of the bull market back in September 2021. So that's basically over 3 years. And now it's back above again. So it's the beginning, right? The very, very beginning. But beyond that, what I really want to point out is this scan, right? You can see how symmetrical it was. Also, from the bottom of 2015, it just exploded all the way up to the green level and had like just a very explosive top, right? But it called the top perfectly once and twice. And it gave warning signs to get out, especially when it lost the arc as support. It was really okay. If you didn't sell here or here, you could have sold here and avoided all that pain for PayPal. And now what's happening is that blue angle held perfectly as a support back here in October of 2023, almost a year ago. And now that orange level is actually a support too. So it was a breakout of that orange level and a back test of it, a little bit of a uh, going through the level, right, for some time. But it held overall, right? It held overall. It's back above. And what we can see now is getting rejected by the blue arc. And that blue arc, we go back in time, we can see that it is once a resistance, twice a resistance. So maybe actually even up here is a resistance too. So once a resistance up here, twice, 3 times. So maybe on the 4th time, it'll break above to get much, much higher and then get to the levels above. And that next arc level could be anywhere from 95 all the way down to the 80s, depending on time. And then after that, the 45-degree angle, maybe in the hundreds. And then the blue level will be the minimum target, I believe, for PayPal. And that currently sits around 142.34. So the setup is getting better and better for PayPal. It's just hitting some resistance now, but that's normal. It's basically the beginning phases of something very, very bullish, especially recently. It just made a higher high from here and here, right? Just made a higher high, and it's almost trying to make a higher high from here. But we can see if we just drew that line directly across right here, it is kind of a resistance zone, right? A previous support, 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 flip to resistance once and twice. So we can see why there's also some struggles right there. We have the arc and we have a previous support flipping to resistance. So that level, really around 72 bucks, kind of needs to get flipped to a support. And I think the more weeks that we get, the better the chance it'll have to flip that to a support. So just a matter of time to do that, just a waiting game. But again, perfect setup for something really bullish going on in the future. And I think the chance to get up towards that 142 does exist, but maybe not next year, possibly in the year 2026 or beyond. And the last one I want to talk about is Cloudflare Net. And so this one is sitting right there at the October 19th low. And it went straight up to around this green arc and the green level up there, got rejected, and then lost all the support one level at a time. But where it ultimately found support was this green angle right here. And it just bounced once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, held as support. And now what do we see? Well, price is even back above, holding that bottom arc as a support now as well. So you can go once, twice, 3 times as support. Even back here, it was support, support, support. And even back here, it was once a resistance. So previous resistance flipping to support, and now it's actually resistance again. So the shorter term targets is going back up towards that blue level, and that sits around 91. And then the top arc up there could be 95 or maybe 91, depending on time. But I do expect this green level to be the target eventually because 230 up there never really got hit the first time around. So I think that it's going to be a magnet for price. Once price gets on the top side of the arcs, once price gets on the top side of the blue level, it will just gravitate up towards that green level at 230. And is it ready yet? Well, we can put on the Ichimoku and see that actually price is getting back into the cloud there. We can see that price is holding that conversion line down there at 7707 or 7709 as support, along with the bottom of the arc. And I think it already found its bottom there with the August 5th low. So now it did a breakout, got rejected by the baseline, a back test of the arc, and now it's going to do a continuation higher. So I think the bottom is also in for this one because the support has been holding so perfectly the whole time. And it's just a matter of time to break this resistance and continue higher. So with that being said, it's just got to be a waiting period, right? For everything I just mentioned, for all the stocks, they're still not ready to break out. They're still stuck under resistance, but the point is they are not going to get held down by this resistance for long because they are just looking to break out. And the market structure and the market symmetry is telling that perfect story. So it's just going to be a matter of patience before this stock, before Roku, before all the other ones finally just explode higher and continue to those targets that I mentioned.